Hi everyone, welcome to 2011 Studies. We got an exciting study to present. I'm looking at the book Countdown right now because I wanted to premise this with a little area of this book in page 323. Zerubbabel began the physical work of the laying of the foundation stone. The building of the house of God was not without opposition, yet God saw to it that the foundation would be laid by Zerubbabel. I also expect that once the 8,400 days of great tribulation is over, that similar opposition will come. We know that 2 Peter 3 teaches of mocking, which will come in the last days. This mocking will be the proclamation by unbelievers of where is the promise of his coming. That lays the foundation of this study, because what we're looking at is we're looking at where we are in history. And the title of this study is The Second Year of Darius the Mede. We have a good outline, and I want to present this outline first before really getting into the study itself. But I think this is going to be a real encouragement for some people. I know it has been for me, rereading this and going over it again. The second year of Darius. The reign of Darius the Mede coincided with the reign of Cyrus of Persia. We saw that in previous studies, the writing on the wall. Once Belshazzar saw the writing on the wall, God took away his dominion, his kingdom, and it was given to the Medes and the Persians. And he died that night, that very night. So once Belshazzar was out of the picture, I believe that related to the end of the 8,400 days. In 2011. So we have a starting point, and that starting point is basically May 21, 2011 to May 21, say 2012 would be the first year cycle of the anniversary of that. So what we're looking at are the continual years of Darius, and a lot of focus in the Bible is on the second year of Darius. And I'm presenting this now because I want everybody to be able to study this as the outline is done today, that you can open your Bible, type in on your concordance on computer, whatever, the second year of Darius, and see the language there, because I think that's where we're at now. And I've been studying this with a good friend. We're fairly convinced that this is where we are in history. So, in other words, the first cycle of the year, like history, there was a rebuilding that was issued by Cyrus, and then it came against opposition, and then it stopped. And until the scroll was found by Darius, and did the rebuilding process start up again. So I think that lull period from 2011 until 2012 had somewhat similar of a spiritual aspect to the historical count. So, previous to, we had looked at, after the 70 years, that language of after, where good and comfortable words would come. And yet the question was how long, even then. So we're looking at the building of the house of God historically, and how that relates to the building of God's eternal house now. And the second year of Darius is very important in all of this. We're going to start off with the Babylonian captivity was given to the Medes and the Persians, or the Babylonian empire was given to the Medes and the Persians. This kingdom was divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. So in Daniel 5:30, in that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. This is Daniel 5:31. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. 62 years old, which is 62 years old. This is point 2 on this. Cyrus issued a decree to build the house of God in Jerusalem, but that came under opposition and was delayed until Darius saw the roll of the decree, which originally issued the command to build the house of God in Jerusalem. This physical building of the house of God yesteryear represents today's spiritual building of God's eternal house made up by believers. So the pattern continues. We're looking at the patterns of the Bible that God has outlined, the pattern of tribulation, the pattern of great tribulation, how God has set forth these things toward the end, but there is a previous pattern in which he follows, and that is so key and significant to see. I wish I had my other glasses with me right now. I don't, so I'm going to have to make do with these. Let's see. There was a delay from 2011 to 2012 in the building of the house of God. Now we are in the second year of Darius, and we are commanded to work. This delay really, historically you see it, and then once you understand that that did happen historically, it makes a lot more sense why there is just like this sort of a lull period after 2011 to 2012. I know these studies went forth. Some other people might be presenting their own studies, but I think that it's really important to see the years of Cyrus in order to know what God intends. And this is really good news. I mean, really good news, some of this language. Especially if you've encountered, the type of affliction that some people that I've talked to and myself have encountered. I think what happens is that God allows it to go a little bit further, and then things start to change. So we're going to look at that. The building of the house of God has had opposition until the second year of Darius. Now this is Ezra 4:20, and again we're now in the second year of Darius. Important to point out. October 2012 would relate to the 7th month of the second year of Darius. So when you read your Bible and you're studying the second year of Darius, you're looking at the 8th month, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11. I think it doesn't really mention 10. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But anyway, like the 11th month. So the 7th month would be October, 8th November, 9th December, the 10th January of next year, and then January, then it would be February. Around February would be the 11th month. Again, you can do some online study yourself and line up the months, their months according to our months, and see the difference there. But the importance is that you're looking at, when you type it in the concordance and online, you're looking at whether you use eSword or whatever program you use. You type in the second year of Darius and really study that language. What happens in the second year? Because that's what we're at right now, and it's important to point this out. This is Ezra 4:20. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, that this city be not builded, until another commandment shall be given from me. Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings? They wanted the building to stop because the mighty kings thought that this building of the house of God in Jerusalem, it would not be to their benefit. In other words, they wouldn't receive the taxes, the tolls, and all tribute and all that. Take ye heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings? Now when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power. Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So again, we had Belshazzar's kingdom taken away, and at the end of the 70, that would relate to the 8,400 days, and then we have a 1-year cycle that would have taken place, and then the 2nd year, from it would have been from May onward of the 2nd year, that would be the 2nd year of Darius. So that's where we're at right now. What else here? This is the 2nd year of Darius. The 1st year was to take over the kingdom of Babylon. God gave the Medes and the Persians that authority. Before the 2nd year of Darius, the following happened. I'm repeating this because I wanted to point out how the 1st year came under opposition, and you have this opposition continuing, by the way, but it's just interesting that, right when that period of time was over, and we should have seen a lot of this language in 2011, because there was language after the 70 years. How long? That question was asked. I presented some of it in the book, but at that point, not everything was revealed, and that was, that's God's hand doing that. So now that we're in the years of Darius, spiritually speaking, the anniversary of the historical account, now that we're in these years, it's a rebuilding, a time of rebuilding. And for the next few years down the road here, the building of the house of God becomes increasingly important, and the work has to be done. Now, before the 2nd year of Darius, the following happened. Now, when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power. They ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Now we're going to look at the term force and power. We looked at mighty kings. Edrei is the word, Hebrew 153, mighty. What's curious about this, if you look up Hebrew 153, and then look up Hebrew, I think it's 154. I'll have to scroll that and put that up, because even the place Edrei is a place in Palestine. And what's interesting about this is the language in Joshua 13:12. All the kingdom of Og in Bashan, which reigned in Ashtaroth, in Edrei, who remained of the remnant of the giants, for these did Moses smite and cast them out. Again, we're looking at force and power here, and how those Hebrew words relate to even the time that Moses did smite and cast them out. In the land of Edrei, who remained of the remnant of the giants. King Nebuchadnezzar used the same army of foresight. I dare to say that. Daniel 3:20, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. And you know, a lot of this stuff really seems like it's lining up. It's all sort of falling into place, especially with this language, as we're studying these individual words, on how like the opposition came and the mighty kings wanted it stopped, and how that related to the little horn, how Satan wants to hinder God's work. So he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. And we all know the outcome of that. God protected them in the fiery furnace. So Christ was in the midst. So we have two accounts of those who lived in Edrei, who remained of the giants, who Moses did smite and cast out. Also the mighty men in King Nebuchadnezzar's army, who bound the 3 Hebrew men and cast them into the fire. We can know this type of force and power comes in opposition to God's work and the believers who are doing God's work. Yet in the case of the fiery furnace, they were protected by Christ. So the same protection is available today, but we have to focus when that rebuilding began, and then there's a lull time, and then how it restarted in the 2nd year of Darius. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Now, this is a rough outline of the months in the 2nd year. 6th month of the 2nd year of Darius, those who built their own sealed houses, yet the houses of God lie in waste. This is a recap of a previous study. We had mentioned the sealed houses, how God was displeased with them in their sealed houses. They were too concerned about building their own homes when the house of God lay in waste. And we talked about that previously, but we're going to review this because this is the 6th month of the 2nd year of Darius. In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Jodiash. I don't know how to pronounce that. I should put enunciation words next to these, but the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, The time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? The 6th month of the 2nd year of Darius, the sealed houses warning and the house rebuilding begins. Now this is Haggai 1:13. Thus spake Haggai the Lord's messenger in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Jodiash, and the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people, and they came and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts their God. In the 24th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king. I'm not going to be too concerned at this point on pinpointing these days, the 24th day of the 6th month, and doing all that. It's just important to point out the months at this time, because we've already passed that, actually, and I'm glad the study was posted earlier about the sealed houses. So that was a previous study, and now we're going to look at the 7th month of the 2nd year of Darius. The commandment goes forth to work and to be strong. Again, this would relate to our October. So this is Haggai 2:1. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Jodash, the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in her first glory? How do you see it now? Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing? Haggai 2:4. Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua, son of Jodash, the high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land, saith the Lord, and work. That's the main emphasis of this in the 7th month of the 2nd year of Darius, and work. For I am with you, saith the Lord of hosts. That's why I wanted to really get this study up quickly, because we're getting out of the 7th month fairly quick, and the message is that God is with us, and we're to work and get this message of the gospel of Jesus Christ out, so the spiritual building can take place. Now we have the 8th month of the 2nd year of Darius. Let's see, and that would relate to November. Zechariah 1 is all about, Zechariah 1 is all about, I know what I did. I just put that as a phrasing. Turn now from your evil ways and evil doings. Raha. That's evil. That's pretty much in the outline of the 8th month. God's command to turn now from your evil ways and your evil doings. Now the 9th month of the 2nd year of Darius, God reproves the works of their hands as unclean. And God lists the unproductive fruit of the pomegranate, the fig, the vine blasted by the mildew. And then he says, from this day forward, I would bless you. I will bless you. So we're approaching these months very quickly now. This is like a step through of the 6th, 7th, 8th month, the 9th month, where in Haggai 2:10, he says, from this day forward I will bless you. Let's read Haggai 2:20. And again the word of the Lord came to Haggai in the 24th day of the month, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms. I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. And I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. That's one judgment in the Bible that I've seen repeatedly in different, maybe there a war here or different accounts, how God does that. I mean, it only takes like his hand being waved and it happens. But these type of judgments, when he says overthrow the chariots, that sounds an awful lot like, the pursuing of the Israelites by the Pharaoh and his armies. I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. How God's going to do that, I don't know. I mean, I'm really waiting to see on this one, because if this is correct, that this pattern is followed from the 8,400 days into the years of Darius, and I really believe it is, and other people do too, that this language here, what happened back then, should line up to what's going to happen, in our time. And even though he's using older language, like, the chariots and those that ride them, the horses and their riders, the point is he's going to overthrow the strength of the kingdom of the heathen will be overthrown. I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. So, the believers have endured a lot. They really have. This has not been an easy time ever since, the 23 years began of tribulation. And first, let me finish this here. Everyone by the sword of his brother. I've seen similar language where it's every neighbor, sword against sword, every neighbor against his neighbor. There could be like some kind of infighting going on. I mean, I don't know really what this is 100% about, but God is turning things around. And when you see this language, we have to remember, okay, the 7th month was related to work. You know, continue to work, I am with you. The 8th month, turn now from your evil ways and evil doings, the Ra-Raha, the evil. The 9th month of the 2nd year of Darius, God reproves the works of their hand. And it also this language of overthrowing the strength, or destroying the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. And I'm going to post these verses in this study so you can look at this language. Okay, Haggai 2:23, in that day saith the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, saith the Lord, and will make thee a signet. I'm sorry, make thee as a signet, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord of hosts. So we have a good outline of the 2nd year of Darius. That's the basis of it. There's other language that I didn't mention right now that I'm actually still looking at, and a more in-depth study can be presented. But I wanted to get this up as quick as possible, since we've entered into these months, and we're passing some of these months, and we're approaching some of these months. And you know, it's one of those things where it's a wait and take a wait and see approach to see how things turn out. We have a good year of the 2nd year of Darius. If you wanted to do some homework, there's a whirlwind of desolation that occurs in the 4th year of Darius, and I believe that lines up really well with the year 2014 and 15. The 4th year of Darius, and then we have the final 6th year of Darius, and I believe it just jumps from the 4th to the 6th, which would encompass our like May 2016 to May 2017, where the house of God is actually complete. It's finished, but that is not all yet. And I think that's easy to look at and say, oh, the house of God is finished in the 6th year of Darius. That means, you know, 2017 might be a wrap up. I don't believe it is, and this is going to take some serious prayer, some serious study time to really look into you know, what else had to happen, any more building or whatever. But so we're going to be looking at this language. I wanted to present this today, though, so that people, you know, in your own studies, people who are studying this information can look up the 2nd year of Darius. Just type that in, and you can start searching out what happens, the language of what's happening. And you know, when God says, from this day forward, I will bless you in a certain month, that's very encouraging. And I think we need to really focus on you know, bringing the gospel at that point, because it's just it's a cool pattern that God has done this. I mean, he's taken history, and he's used the term tribulation, and we have patterns of the tribulation in the Old Testament, so we have something to follow. We have Christ referring in Matthew 24 how he spoke of, you know, as spoken of by Daniel the prophet. So we have something to go back to Daniel and look to see what the 70 years were all about, and how that relates to our time. So anyway, that's it for now. This is the 2nd year of Darius. And we're going to be looking further on into the 4th year and the 6th year, and maybe covering some of the key words of the 2nd year again, getting a little bit further into that study. Anyway, my name's Marty Catuzzo. Anybody can email me at 2011studies@gmail.com. Our command by God is to work. So that's what we need to be doing. If you want to send this video to your friends, you can enclose it into an email. That's fine. I encourage that, actually, because there needs to be more people getting this message out of where we are in time, where we are in history, and how that seemed like there was a little bit of a hesitation, a little bit opposition that came in building the house of God. The mocking came after 2011, and people were wondering, where are we? I think this pattern is accurate. I've confirmed some of this information with a friend who is studying the same identical things, and it's very encouraging that you can communicate with somebody, be able to talk and see that, yeah, that's what I've come to too. Yeah, you were looking at these months progress until the temple is the house of God is complete. So we have years ahead of us. So, but they will go quick, and then I believe that falls into place. What's so cool about this is it falls into place within the 3 years. As the years of a hireling, the glory of Moab will be contemned. And then within another year, the glory of Kedar will fail. So if we're approaching that from 2011 to the years 2014 and 15, that's the midway point of the 7 years. And then we got another, that is the time in the midway point when judgment begins to fall on the houses of God, and God is lifted up, His glory. And that relates to Joel. In the book of Joel, where God removes the northern, and He does great things. His glory is magnified. So we have other references that seem to be following this 7-year pattern up until 2018. So that's good news. I mean, we're working, we continue to do the work, and hopefully more people will be able to participate in this, as now we are commanded by God to work, and that He will strengthen us and eventually get to the point where we enter one particular month, and that's the month where God says, from this day forward I will bless you. So this is good news for everybody who study these things. God bless you. My name is Marty Catuzzo. Email me if you want. Thanks.